All right, in this one of our last videos in terms of our editing skill sets, we're going to create polygons that are in a sense free floating. That's really one of the simpler ways of digitizing, and this means that we're going to create polygons that are not coincident, that have empty space around them. And to do this, what we're going to be working on here are a very simple thing where I'm going to ask you to do two polygons that are the ponds up at the northeast end of Presque Isle. Now, in doing this, one of the other things I'm going to have you do is actually add their names. And again, this is Cranberry and Ridge Pond. We'll be putting those into their attribute tables. Okay, and so that's what we'll be doing in this one. All right, so here we are, and again, I've asked you to do this at 1 to 15,000 scale. We're now kind of up at the northeast end of Presque Isle. And what I'd like you to do is we're going to edit these two ponds. We're going to create those. And so again, what we're going to be doing is we want to be working in our ponds feature class. And so again, we're going to go into here and we're going to start editing. And again, we're going to go into our create features window. Move myself out of the way here. And you'll notice, though, very important idea, this is not what we're interested in. This is sometimes what happens, is we are in ponds. PA Counties is on, and so that's the one that's here. We need to turn on the ponds layer to make it available for editing. And make sure that's the case, because if you don't have that feature class on, it's not available to create new features. So again, I've turned that on. I'm going to move this a little bit, and now we can see everything. I'm going to click on ponds to activate it. And in this case, again, I got to move myself out of the way here, we're going to be creating polygons, and we're going to try to follow these boundaries. The other thing I want to point out is while it looked like when we were using the streaming mode on this, it went pretty well, notice how irregular this boundary actually is. And if I were to expose the vertices on there, you'll notice that there are a whole lot of vertices kind of crammed into that. Later on, and at the beginning of Advanced JS, we'll talk about kind of how to smooth various polygons, and there are a whole bunch of algorithms to do that. But for right now, let's focus on our digitizing of, if you will, free-floating polygons. So here we are, and we're going to use the construction of polygon tool. And again, we're making sure that we're in the active layer. And so what we're going to do here is use the construction tool that is Polygon. I'm simply going to click on that. And again, in this case, what I want to do is I'm going to click. And in this case, what I'm going to do is two different ways of doing this. I'm going to be using my single point digitizing. And I'm just going to click along this one. We'll kind of try to follow that as best we can. And there's my first polygon, and it actually looks pretty good. The next one that I'm going to do, again, I'm going to go and move this over a little bit, move it down so I can do the ridge pond. And what I'm going to do with the ridge pond now is I'm going to do the same concept, but in this case I'm going to use that streaming mode. So again, I'm going to select polygon, click on the edge, and then again I'm going to click my F8 key, and I'm going to move along its edge. Now you'll notice that one of the challenges in doing this is that I'm producing a whole lot of vertices, and I'm not sure that it's actually producing a significantly better pond. Again, remember, double click to end your polygon. I can look at both of these and say, well, one of them looks a little bit better than the other, but one of the things I also want to show you real quick here is up here in the Windows tool. If I click on that, there's a magnifier option. I'm going to open that up and you'll see what it does. When I click on the magnifier, I actually have a magnifier that is 200%, and I can actually look at my edge. When I move it there, you'll see that it eventually zooms in, and it does look like it's better. Now, the other nice thing about this magnifier is that whatever I do inside it, I can do kind of basic things. I'm going to go in here now, and I'm going to double click on this to expose my vertices, and you'll notice how many I see here. I can also increase my zoom level. It'll take a minute for it to do that, and I'm zoomed in even farther. We can use the magnifying tool to sometimes do very fine scale digitizing. depending on what you want to be doing. It allows you to move around the map a little bit easier. So again, magnifier window. So now we've created our two ponds. Remember, I've asked you to edit these. So what I'm going to do is there's two ways of getting to our excuse me, to edit our attributes. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the feature. I'm going to select the feature and then click on my attributes. In this case, I believe this is cranberry. So I'm going to type in cranberry. And the next one, now I'm going to click here. And that happens to be ridge. Now, if your attribute window doesn't open up, remember that you can always open that up, and I'm going to close it here by going to our editor, and in terms of our editing windows, you'll notice it's right here, and that'll open it up again. So now I've created two floating or freestanding polygons. Remember, again, we are going to stop our editing and we're going to save it. We'll see you in the next video.